Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas X16.1 in the latest Turbocharge pack colorway. Obviously very bright with a couple different shades of green. We'll take a closer look at the colorway in the video, of course. We'll talk tech specs, performance features, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more in regards to the overall performance of this boot, stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. Now, of course, being a top-end model from Adidas, they do come with a string bag with the X branding as an extra inside of the box. That's expected though with a lot of the top-end models from Adidas. As far as the colorway itself is concerned, being part of the Turbocharge pack, you're getting two shades of green. One that I would say is more of like a teal color towards the front, and then you have this really cool kind of paint splatter fade effect into more of like a lime green you have at the back half of the shoe. You have that teal color in the laces, the exposed textile here, the actual tech fit material, if you will, has a combination of the two colors together, which is really neat. You have the tech fit and the X branding right there on the medial side in the darker green as well. The lace tips, as you can see, have that little bit of metallic copper to it. So that is pretty much the only copper you're gonna find on the shoe, aside from the X logo there on the insole. And then as you can see, you have the Adidas branding there on the lateral side in black. And then the sole plate is a lime green color, a non-wearable finish, unlike what you're gonna find on the Pure Chaos with translucent studs. So overall, it's a pretty good looking shoe. I can't knock it by any means, and I actually really like this colorway combo. Looks pretty good in person, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Now, in regards to performance, we kind of see mixed opinions on this shoe based on what professional players are wearing. Some of them prefer the X16.1 or variations of this shoe, not necessarily the off-the-shelf version. And a lot of pros are wearing the Pure Chaos as well, but I would say more of them are wearing this particular version. As to what my personal preference is, if we're talking about off-the-shelf variations of the X16.1 and the 16 Plus Pure Chaos, I do prefer the Pure Chaos model, but for $100 more, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's $100 better. This is gonna offer a fairly similar experience to a certain extent, but I do have my issues with the shoe that I'm gonna point out for you. Now, in regards to the upper, it's not very specific in terms of tech specs. They list it as a tech fit upper, which doesn't really tell the story. You have a synthetic material for pretty much the entire upper, aside from where you have the exposed textile, the stretchy material, closer towards the top around the heel and top of the foot area. But the material itself for the synthetic upper, it's soft enough, it's flexible enough, but it's kind of awkwardly thick. A lot of people would think that this compares to something like a Mercurial Vapor 11, but that's not the case. This feels significantly bulkier when compared to something like a Vapor. So again, the touch on the ball, it's thin, but there definitely is a padded sensation and I guess a ruggedness to this material given the thickness, and that it's not a super paper thin upper like we've seen from Adidas in the past with the F50 Adizero, because really this is kind of the closest thing we have to some of those older F50 models. You have a little bit of texturing here on the surface of the upper with this kind of tearing graphic, not really noticeable on the ball. And then one of my main issues with this shoe is this seam right here. We've gotten to a point in 2017 where I feel like the industry standard is you don't put big, clunky, hard seams in any part of the foot where you're going to be making contact with the ball. And this is a pretty important area. So I'm still a little bit baffled as to why Adidas would put that there. We didn't have it in pretty much any of the synthetic F50 models. So I just don't see why they put it here on the X16.1. It's something that really bothers me about the shoe. It's not really the downfall in regards to feel or performance, but it's a really awkward place to put a seam in my opinion. You do have a one-piece design to the upper itself, so it does have kind of a one-piece enclosure, although it does feel fairly bulky given the one-piece enclosure that it has. It doesn't fit nearly as close to your foot as a lot of Nike boots with the one-piece design, so keep that in mind. But you do have basically one piece and then it's elasticated here at the top, so you do have a fairly big opening in terms of just how this material can stretch. So getting your foot in and out isn't too bad. We'll take a look at that a little bit later in the video. And then the lacing system is attached by way of basically these nylon lace loops. They're not actual straps that go all the way through. They're just lace loop placeholders. and you have a central lacing system because of this. Again, with the lace loops, I feel like you have a little bit more bulk across the top of the foot than there needs to be if they use, let's say, a dual lace hole system like we see from other boots from Nike, like from Adidas, sorry, like the Messi 16.1, and boots from Nike for that matter. So again, kind of an interesting choice to do it this way. In my opinion, not the cleanest way to do it in regards to just having a very smooth surface to the upper. This makes for a little bit more bulk, but it does get the job done. And again, I wouldn't say it's a super noticeable thing when you're actually using the shoes. As far as the cut is concerned, some people consider this mid-cut. I really would just consider it a low-cut boot. You have these extension pieces, but there's not really any structure to it. Comes up a little bit higher here at the front because of the one-piece design. Then you have the S-curve heel, which again, looks pretty funky, but actually feels quite normal. The inside heel liner is this really nice synthetic suede material. Nothing to complain about there. Good amount of padding, very good heel lockdown as well. The insole, fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. If it wants to come out, here it goes. You can see the insole itself has a nice synthetic suede liner on top. You got your X branding in that metallic copper, and then it's basically just a single layer of this black foam. Decent thickness to it, pretty much the standard comfort insole that you'd find in any Adidas boot. As far as the outsole is concerned, this does feature the same sprint frame sole plate and pretty much stud pattern that you'll find with the Pure Chaos, just with a slightly different finish on the surface, which is just a visual cosmetic thing. But as you can see, it's a sprint frame construction with the built-in external heel counter. Decent flexibility to it. It feels fairly solid underfoot, very similar to what you're going to find across the entire Adidas brand. And then of course the FGAG stud pattern, which again, same layout you'll find across the entire brand at the moment, but with slightly different shaped studs. But again, ultimately the performance is pretty well the same no matter which model you go for. If you want something that offers good, firm, natural grass traction, nothing exceptional, but it does get the job done, these are going to be just fine for you. And if you've worn an Adidas shoe in the last several years, you probably know what to expect with this particular stud pattern. In regards to weight, in a size 9 US, these guys weigh in at 7.5 ounces. So again, very similar in weight to what you're gonna find from the Pure Chaos variation, even though it is $100 less. So if you're trying to decide between the 16.1 and the 16 plus, weight shouldn't be the deciding factor. They're relatively lightweight. Again, not the lightest thing in the world, especially if you're comparing them to older F50 Adizeros. This is a significantly bulkier shoe when compared to, let's say, a 2014 F50, which in my opinion was the best variation we got from the F50 Adizero line. With all of that said, let's take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So you can see here on my right foot, I actually swapped out the stock laces for some junior length black reflective laces. I went with black just because I thought it accented really nicely with the Adidas logo here on the side. And I went junior length just because the laces that come with the shoes tend to be on the longer side, and I just feel like they don't need to be that long, so it helps to cut down on a little bit of bulk. Nonetheless, if you are interested in a pair of SR4U laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen, as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. So like I was talking about with these lace loops, obviously it does allow you to tie the laces effectively, but you're left with kind of these larger bumps where the actual lace kind of crosses over the placeholders for the laces. So again, there's more bulk here than I think there needs to be if they just used a dual lace hole system or something like that, but they chose to do it for this reason, this way for whatever reason. But that's what they look like tied up. Pretty clean once they're tied up. It's not too overly bulky, or again, something that I would say is a major downfall of this shoe, but something that I, again, just don't really care for quite as much. And you don't necessarily get that same amount of bulk with the Pure Chaos, which is partially why I do prefer the way that that shoe feels in general. So let's tie the left boot up really quickly here, and we'll get a look at both of the shoes on feet. So here they are, guys. Comfortable out of the box, I would say yes. There's not a whole lot to really complain about. The heel lockdown is good. It's got a nice deep fit in the heel, which is really nice. And the overall comfort of the upper, it's got not necessarily a softness to it, but it is flexible. And it doesn't feel stiff or rigid on your feet, which is really nice. There's not a whole lot to break in here. You do feel a little bit of firmness where this seam is positioned. That's to be expected. And again, a minor complaint, but not necessarily something that I think is detrimental to the feel of the shoe. So out of the box, for the most part, they fit quite comfortably. And the one-piece design definitely is not as tight as other one-piece uppers, like something from Nike, for example, with the Mercurial Vapors. So that is worth noting as well. In regards to width, It's pretty similar width across the entire Adidas brand at the moment. They're not overly tight, they're not overly wide. They will fit most people. If you have super, super wide feet, maybe not the best option for you, but I think for the most part, these will fit most people quite comfortably. And in regards to sizing, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So that is pretty much it, guys, for my review of the Turbocharge Pack X16.1 from Adidas. Again, if you're interested in a pair for yourself, you can click the little eye in the corner of the screen or the first link down below in the description. That's going to take you to the review page on my website where you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. If you have any questions regarding these shoes, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.